you're not sure of what niche or what specialty to choose from as a virtual assistant or as a freelancer, don't worry, this video is definitely for you. Welcome to episode 4 of season 1 on how to start as a virtual assistant 2025, a beginner's guide. So again, this is episode 4, and this episode 4 we're answering the question, not sure what niche to choose from. Again, this video is definitely for you because I'm going to teach you how you will find the niche or the specialty that's just right for you, especially if this is the first time that you're trying out how to be a virtual assistant. So let's start off first by defining what is niche and why does it matter in your journey as a virtual assistant. So niche simply means a specialty, something that you're very good at. In the virtual assistant world or the virtual assistant industry, there are a lot of specialties. You're not just a general VA. You can be a real estate virtual assistant. You can be a social media manager. You can be a podcast VA. So there are a lot of different specialties or niches. When you're starting, you have to find out what is the specialty for you. And that's what we're going to answer now. So example, you're not just a general VA, but you're a real estate VA. So those are the specialties or niches that we are talking about. So why does it matter that you know what your specialty is or your niche is? First up, this is very important because in the virtual assistant world right now, it feels like it's so saturated already. A lot of our fellow Filipinos are wanting to become a virtual assistant. And you're not just competing with your fellow Filipinos. There are a lot of aspiring remote workers or virtual assistants from different countries. I have an audience and a big audience in Africa, from Nigeria to Somalia. We also have viewers from Israel. We have viewers from Indonesia, from UAE, even from the UK and the US. We have a lot of aspiring virtual assistants or freelancers. So it's very important that you find out what your specialty is or your niche is so that you can stand out amongst other aspiring remote workers or VAs. Again, that's because there's a rise of interest in becoming a virtual assistant. And there's also a rise of companies or direct clients that are looking for VAs and remote workers. So it's definitely a tough market out there. So you have to find out what your specialty is so that you can stand out amongst the others. Another reason why finding out your niche is or your specialty matters because it makes your marketing or the way you sell yourself and offer your services to clients clearer and more targeted. Remember when I say that if you decide to become a virtual assistant or a remote worker, especially if you want to look for direct clients or if you want to go that route, you are starting a business, a small business. You are no longer an employee, but you should already think of yourself as an entrepreneur or a business owner because you are selling your services. You might not be selling an actual product, but you are selling your service as a VA or a remote worker. That's why you have to learn how to market yourself, and learning what your niche is or what your specialty is will help your marketing or your selling powers clearer, and you can target the right audience or the right client for your service. So just like example, my service is as an executive virtual assistant. If I want to niche it more down, I can say that I am an executive virtual assistant for wedding and events vendors, right? Because my specialty or my experience is as a wedding and events planner. So I can niche it down and target a smaller clientele, which will help me stand out more against other executive virtual assistants. So that's how you're going to approach your niche or your specialty. It's going to be a combo wherein you're not just niching down your specialty, but you're also niching down the industry that you are trying to target as an EVA or as a social media VA or social media manager. So that's why niching down or finding out what your specialty is matters. Another reason why it matters is because it allows you to charge more for a specialized skill. So, for example, if I'm going to target a client as an executive virtual assistant, I'm going to target a client who is not in a, let's say, a client in an AI startup. Then this is my rate. For example, my rate would be $1,500 a month. But if I get a client that is a wedding and events planner based in New York, I'm going to increase my rate to probably $1,000, $1,800, or $2,000 a month. That's because my background and my specialty and my experience as a wedding and events planner adds on to the skills, the services, and the knowledge that I can bring to the table as their VA. So that's how you can leverage, or niching down or finding out what your specialty is can actually increase the rate that you offer to your potential clients. And lastly, in terms of why niching down or why finding out your niche is important, is because it attracts clients who are looking for exactly what you do or what you can offer. So if you are starting and you think that being a general virtual assistant is the safest bet, because that's what a lot of content creators just like me say, that if you're starting, you don't have an experience, you can be a general VA. But then you realize your background is in nursing. You graduated nursing and you don't have experience as a VA. So you're thinking of becoming a general VA. But since you have a nursing background, you can become a medical virtual assistant. You can target clients in the medical field. Like, for example, you can look for a dentist, you can look for a clinic, you can look for any type of doctor that you can assist. So having that specialty of providing a niche or a specialized service, you will be able to attract the right clients that's looking for your specialty. So it goes back to the first reason of it helps you stand out from other aspiring VAs. Now that we know why finding out what your specialty or your niche is matters, let's dive into the difference between choosing a broad versus a specialized niche. So what's the difference? You already have a niche, but we are here finding out the difference between a broad and a specialized niche. So a broad niche is offering, for example, a general virtual assistant, or like me, an executive virtual assistant. So you are a jack of all trades or a do-it-all type of freelancer because you're a general VA or you're an EVA. So you do a lot of admin tasks. For an executive virtual assistant, you do inbox management, calendar management, household travel. So you do a lot of things for your client. Being an executive virtual assistant or a general virtual assistant limits you to usually one client at a time because you do a lot of things for them, especially as an EVA. You do a lot of things for your clients, so you really can't handle multiple clients at a time. Now, if you want to have a specialized niche, so example of a specialized niche is a podcast virtual assistant, a social media manager, a medical virtual assistant, a legal VA. So you have that specific specialty that you are offering, then you can have multiple clients. So those are your pros and cons when you look at a broad type of niche to a specialized niche. Now, what are the pros and cons of having a broad niche versus a specialized niche? So for your broad niche, your pros is actually your flexibility, and it's easier for you to get started because you have a wide range of clientele that you have a wide range of potential clients that you can target because you offer also a wide range of specialty or skills. The con with this would definitely be limited number of clients that you can handle. Since you're going to do a lot of things for a specific client, you're going to just limit yourself with one client because you'll do both personal and professional tasks with them. Now, for a specialized niche, your pro here is you can have a higher income potential because you can onboard multiple clients. So for example, as a social media manager, you can onboard maybe 5 clients at a time because you are just project based. You are going to deliver or you are an output based. So you're going to deliver a specific output. And that's the only thing that your client would expect from you. Okay, so that's the pro for that. The con for a specialized niche is that it may take longer to build your authority, especially if you're just starting, meaning it takes longer for you to build a portfolio, right? Because you need to prove to your potential client that you are special or you are an expert on this specific niche. Those are the pros and cons, but it definitely still depend on what you feel like you really can do the best for your client. Knowing those options of having a broad niche or a specialized niche, let's now try to assess your skills and your strengths so that you can identify what your specialty is. So ask yourself first when you are starting out or after watching this video, or you can take a pause on this video after these questions. So ask yourself, what are the tasks that you enjoy doing? For example, you enjoy creating content, you enjoy video editing, you enjoy writing, right? So think about the things that you enjoy doing. For example, me, I like to create events, right? I like to create content. So those are the things that I like to do, right? So try to think of the things that you love doing. Next thing to ask yourself is, what skills do I already have from my past work experience or from my education? So list down all of the skills and the experience that you've learned for years. For example, me, from my previous work, I learned how to do customer service in the call center industry. I know how to book, I know how to talk to clients as a wedding and events planner. I know how to create a program as a wedding and events planner. So write down all of the skills that you learned, not just from work or from education, but from your personal experience as well. For example, my family and I love to go traveling. So I'm the one who is assigned to book flights and look for hotels and all of those things. So I can have, let's say, travel management experience. So write everything, the skills that you know how to do. Next question to ask yourself is, what do people often ask help from me? So just think of what your friends ask help from your family members. What do they usually ask help from you? So write down all of those things. The next thing that you're going to do is you can use a skill inventory exercise. So just like I mentioned, write down all of your skills and then now write down all of the soft skills that you know. For example, organization, communication, attention to details, multitasking. What else? Just write all of the soft skills that you know how to do or that you feel like you have that soft skill. Write down everything. Next, write down tech tools or softwares that you know how to use. For example, you know how to use Google Workspace, Notion, Trello, Canva, CapCut. Write down all of the tools that you used and then try to also rate your skill into using them. Is it basic, advanced, expert skill in terms of the tools that you know how to use? And the next is list down your previous job experiences and see what tasks can be repackaged into a freelancing service. This is where what we call your transferable skills come in. So write down all of your previous job experiences. Next thing that you can do is you can also take online personality or strengths test like Strengths Finders, DISC assessment, or 16 personalities to discover what type of work or specialty aligns best with your personality. Now that you have listed down all of your skills, your hard skills, your soft skills, tools that you know how to use, you've taken down some personality tests to find out which best suit your personality, we can move on to research. So next thing that you're going to do is to research in-demand freelancing or virtual assistant services. Right now, in-demand service are your executive virtual assistants or EAs. Since executive virtual assistants offer a lot of skills or they are a jack or Jill of all trades, then a lot of clients are looking for EAs or executive virtual assistants. And most of these clients are also premium clients. So it's very, very important that you try to, especially if you're just starting, to find out more about how to become an executive virtual assistant, because there are a lot of potential clients, even virtual assistant agencies that are looking to hire EVAs. Next thing to look for in terms of your research is to browse platforms like Upwork, Online Jobs PH, and LinkedIn Jobs so that you can find out what VA agencies or remote or companies that are offering remote work are looking for. So make sure that you do your research. Another thing or another venue where you can use or where you can research is Facebook groups and YouTube channels and other content creators just like me. So you have to look at what job openings content creators like me or other or Facebook groups for freelancing or virtual assistants are actually posting. Next place that you can also do your research is to join community. You can check out the description down below and you can join my free community. I post there regularly some job openings, and I also post on my social media platforms the urgent job openings that we are looking for. Like for example, right now it's very hard for us to look for a dispatcher, and that's something that is a lot of clients are currently looking. So you have to do your research, join communities. There are a lot of virtual assistants that are going live on TikTok, so you can also join their lives and find out if they have any job openings. Now that you know the steps on how to find out what your niche is, how to do your research, let's talk about the different examples of profitable niches since this 2025. Let's start off with virtual assistants. So you have your real estate virtual assistant, which have been really growing since even before the pandemic. And then we also have a big growth for podcast virtual assistants. And of course, my niche, it's executive virtual assistants. It's always growing. And then we also have a lot of interest in medical or legal virtual assistants. Now, under the creative and marketing niche, this is going to still be the same. We have social media managers, email marketing specialists, short form and long form video editors, as well as funnel builders. There's a big growth of funnel builders right now in 2025. Now, under the tech and admin niche, we have project managers or OBMs. We also have automation specialists, people who knows how to use Zapier and similar tools or softwares. We also have system setups and tech VA, as well as AI virtual assistant. So you can specialize in AI or automation. That's a great combination. And we also have bookkeeper or finance VAs for small or large businesses. And last but definitely not the least, we have the writing niche. So we have website copywriters as well as email copywriting or e-commerce copywriters. So those are the niches that are continuously growing this 2025. So write that all down and see if there is anything based on your experience that you are interested on, and then upskill on that, and then start building your portfolio and start offering your services for that specific niche. Leverage your executive virtual assistant specialty or your niche. You can enroll in my online course. Everything will be in the description down below, or better yet, subscribe to this channel for free tutorials. And it's very important also that you subscribe to this channel, because on our next episode, we're going to talk about whether it's better to be a generalist or a specialist. And that's going to help you to decide what path is definitely right for you as a virtual assistant beginner. And of course, I'd love to help you out in this journey. You can comment down below the top 3 skills that you have, and I will reply to your comment and let you know what is the best niche or specialty based on the top 3 skills that you have, so you can start your journey as a virtual assistant this 2025. Thank you so much everyone for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that I'll see you again next Thursday for our episode 5 of this series.